Greetings and salutations, artisans. This is Wolfphototech, and here we go with another review video. This time of the Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition starter set, Stranger Things version. Okay? Now, back to the position. This is a simple box. It's done in the classic, basic Dungeons & Dragons style, which I personally maintain is actually more in line with Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition philosophy of game. It has a simple list on the back of what all you get in here. The contents are Stranger Things Adventure Booklet, Rule Book, 5 Stranger Things character sheets, 6 dice, Demogorgon figure, painted Demogorgon figure. Okay. That's what's on the back. That's on the front again. It's just a super simple box. Very basic top with a see-through window for your Demogorgons. You got 6 dice, which is the absolute minimum number of dice you need to play Dungeons & Dragons. However, this is not the suggested amount of dice. This is less than the suggested amount of dice. This is the bare bones minimum. More dice is needed for this. You only get like a D4, a D6, a D8, a D10, a D12, and a D20. Okay, see my other review videos to see why that is undersized. In the top of the box, there's this little handy-dandy section that holds our Demogorgons. It's just an extra piece of cardboard that holds everything down. You got your Demogorgon in minis. You got your unpainted one. This is the Stranger Things Demogorgon. He is kind of flexible. He's a soft plastic. And then you have a painted Demogorgon. And if you look at them, there really isn't much of a difference. The painted one is a little darker in tone and has a red opening in his mouth. See, a little darker tone, red in his mouth. Unpainted. No red in his mouth, lighter tone. Okay? Put those guys back because I literally would never use. I have no reason to use them. Because I don't run Stranger Things. In the bottom of this box, there is the starter set rule booklet. By the way, this is actually produced by Hasbro Gaming, not Wizards of the Coast. You have the pages are a little bit thicker, and it's more bland and straight to the point. It's slightly more replicating the feeling of basic and advanced Dungeons & Dragons. It's a stitched spine, which is actually a nice touch for extra strength. You got good description of ability checks and ability scores in this book. You got a bit of artwork from Stranger Things, describing Chapter 2 is describing. Chapter 1, by the way, is basically the explanation of how the base scores and mechanics operate in dice. Chapter 2 is all about combat. It goes over the basic actions. As you can see, it's actually very minimal artwork. And you get a little piece of images from Stranger Things. And then you have Chapter 3 is Adventuring, which basically describes short rests, long rests, rewards, equipment, travel, carrying capacity, stuff like that. Improvised weapons. Then you got Chapter 4, which is Spellcasting, which also describes all the basic components of spellcasting. No diagram or anything in explaining the areas or zones of spells, like cones, cylinders, cubes, squares, radiating, stuff like that. You get basic spells for various classes of characters. You got bard spells, you got cleric spell section, a paladin spell section, rangers, wizards. You got all the basic spells. Really no artwork in here, just photos from Stranger Things. No diagrams. It's just the bare minimum. You got a little appendix in the back for magic items. Very minimum, no artwork. Then you got a little description of how monsters operate in the back, along with some of the monsters and enemies in the book. The Thassel Hydra, and so forth. This is the starter set rulebook. They put the monsters in the back of the starter set rulebook. And then here is the adventure. As they said, it's only, they got DM notes section in the back. They don't even bother numbering it. They don't even tell you how many pages are in the, but it's a really thin book. You got a little bit of artwork in the front from Will the Wise. You got all big text. So you're creating on a feeling that this is actually written by a kid. Yet again, string binding. Basic writing, as if it was written on a rule sheet with a map. So, audience with Sir Tristan. And flip through this. Maps, basic lists of what's in an area, encounters. I'm just like flipping through this. Yeah. It's actually rather short. There's only, I believe this adventure is only like level 3 to 4. And then you have in the bottom of the box is the character sheets. For the characters, confirm, it's actually for 3rd, 4th, and 5th level. So you start at level 3, you got a level 3 bard, a level 3 cleric, a level 3 paladin, a level 3 ranger, a level 3 wizard. Now, the nice thing about this set is actually one of the few sets that don't start at level 1. And it starts at level 3 to 5. However, that's not that big of a deal. It's nice to have a switch up like that, but it's not a big winner. So on to I'm putting everything back into the box so you can see literally what's in the box. And you notice something. How very little there is in this box. There's not even crayons. If you were going to try to replicate classic Dungeons & Dragons, the basic and advanced era of Dungeons & Dragons, you need a crayon in the box. You need a few crayons. Seriously. Okay, on to the rating section. But before I go into the rating section, I have to remind people how thick the box is compared to Call of Cthulhu, and how thick it is compared to Starfinder. Because that's going to give you a reference in the future. This is a 2.75 or a 3-star or starter set. This has to be literally the worst starter set for Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. There's no way about it. This is the worst and laziest starter set. Period. The writing in the books is well done overall. The fact that they went with a stitch binding on the books is nice. They stuck in 2 minis of a variant of a monster or a special monster that you're probably not going to use unless you're really into Stranger Things. This box set literally exists to sell a Dungeons and Dragons box set to people from Stranger Things that don't know anything about Dungeons and Dragons or vaguely recall classic Dungeons and Dragons and want to replicate it and see Stranger Things, Dungeons and Dragons, and buys it. The starter set, the original starter set, is a superior buy to this starter set. If you see this one and you see this one, you buy this one. If that's your only 2 options. See this review right here to see the extra level of relevance to that at Dig and Berry on this starter set. This starter set is like, if you're like a completionist and want to buy all the starter sets, or you're a super fan of Stranger Things and want to buy this starter set, okay. It's your money. But this is literally the bottom of starter sets. It's actually one of the worst put together starter sets. You got basic box top. You got absolute bare minimum number of dice. Not even the proper number of dice. Or all the dice. But the absolute bare minimum. You get 2 minis. I swear they put all the value in the minis. And the minis are of a variant of a creature you probably don't want to use. Unless you're a Stranger Things fanatic. The starter rule set, they stick the monsters in the back. This is the book you hand to the players, by the way. That is dumb. Okay? Don't put the monsters in the starter set rule book for the players. Okay. It is very minimal. There's like no images no images. It's bare bones as heck. The highest quality thing about this thing is that the fact that the writing works, it explains stuff accurately, and they have a stitch binding. The adventure is a one-shot. If you have a long one-shot game session, you can play it in one shot. That's like the positive of the adventure. It's a really short adventure. This is the 2.75, a maybe 3-star set of Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. This is weaker than the original starter set, and the other 2 starter sets, it's make this thing look like a joke. Okay? Players age 14 and plus, 3 plus players. Okay? They're saying you need 3 minimum players or more. You got character sheets for basically 5 characters. Yeah, 5 characters. This is bare minimum. Yeah. Okay? It's oversized box. What they do is they stick minis in the box. So now you have this little mini section sticking out. You can't even throw a map pack in there. You have to take the mini section out of the box, which you can do. You can slip the mini section out of the box and throw the map packs in there, which actually, interestingly enough, that makes a good tray for your map packs or your player's handbook or your dungeon master's guide if you want to include that in. But still, you can do that with the original boxes. It has Wizards of the Coast really should keep Hasbro Gaming from touching your shit. I want more Rick and Morty, not Stranger Things. Good grief, that's an underwhelming box set if there is ever anything to say for a box set. And compared to other tabletop RPGs box sets, that is considering that is the bottom of the 5th edition box sets. When you set everything into scale against other box sets, all the Wizard of the Coast box sets lose 2 stars compared to just automatically. They're 2 stars down automatically. When you put them on scale with Call of Cthulhu 7th edition box set or any other box set, they automatically lose 2 stars. Because every other tabletop RPG does it better than Wizards of the Coast. It's just some of them are way better for 5th edition, and then there's the money cash grab turd of 5th edition starter sets. Okay? So thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing and leaving a like on the video, and see you next time on the video. If you dislike my videos, please leave a dislike and tell me why in the videos, and still consider subscribing to my videos so you can complain at me about how bad I am in my videos. Alrighty? Thank you very much for watching this video. See you next time. Have a delightful day, a nice night, and a wonderful week, and so long.